Greetings, I'm Bill Kladky, and I'd like to welcome you to today's edition of Neighborhood Beat. Our show today looks at volunteer lawyers in Maryland and the various services that they offer for all of us. Our guest is Mr. Richard Chambers, who's Deputy Director of the Maryland Volunteer Lawyer Service. Richard, welcome to the show.
Nice to see you again, Bill.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming.
No problem at all.
First of all, for our viewers who are unfamiliar, could you tell us a little bit about the Maryland Volunteer Lawyer Service? Well,
the Maryland Volunteer Lawyer Service is a statewide nonprofit organization that provides pro bono legal services to low and moderate income people across the state in civil legal matters. So divorce, custody, landlord-tenant issues, foreclosure, bankruptcy. We can provide pro bono attorneys who can assist low-income people with those kind of problems. It's a free service. And we help about 2,000 to 2,200 people a year with full legal representation in civil legal matters.
Wow. How long have you been around now?
It was our 30th anniversary.
30th.
1981
Wow.
was the first year MVLS started, so 30 very good years.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And I guess your job as Deputy Director is to make sure it works.
That's a big part of it. A big part of it is to kind of oversee, particularly our core pro bono program, which is making sure that attorneys are there to provide these pro bono legal services to our low-income clients.
Okay. And what's your background?
Well, I'm an attorney, graduate of the University of Baltimore School of Law, also a graduate of Loyola College, now Loyola University, I think. Born in Baltimore, born Franklin Square Hospital, right, right across the street. Grew up in Anne Arundel County, and I have a real passion for making sure that Maryland is a state where people get the help they need. Very interested in public interest law and doing good work here in Maryland.
Yeah, and it's needed, if anything, more than ever.
Yeah.
More than ever. I know that if the lawyer service has been around 30 years, I guess it's changed too, as the need has changed.
Well, yeah, and quite frankly, everybody over the last 3 or 4 years has been talking about the economy. And as we know, when the economy dips, people, their needs increase. And we've been seeing that all of the legal service providers, like the Maryland Legal Aid Bureau, which is the largest legal service provider in the state for low-income people, all of us are seeing increases in terms of the amount of people coming to us looking for help in bankruptcy, foreclosure, a lot of family law issues. When the economy goes downhill, lots of people have problems, and it's not just financial problems. These are problems that end up becoming issues with their children, with their spouses. People have problems. The economy's down, and the need is out there.
Yeah, and as we were talking before the show began, in many ways, the legal assistance that your pro bono attorneys give is a preventative for the public spending even more money on folks.
Well, it's something people often don't think about, but the reality is when you can help somebody who needs that help and the first or second step in their problem, you're going to potentially prevent them from being in worse shape down the road. So getting an attorney involved early on in the process prevents, for example, a person going into court pro se on their own and potentially not knowing what they're doing in front of a judge. It prevents the possibility that maybe somewhere down the road that person's going to have to go on public assistance or get some other sort of help through the government. By getting them in touch with an attorney early on, maybe we can fix that problem. Maybe we can prevent bigger issues and bigger problems happening in their family unit and in their community. So this is important.
Yeah, indeed. In other words, one scenario would be a household that is having some kind of legal difficulties, and if they go in without adequate legal representation, they might lose the case and land up going into bankruptcy and get evicted.
You could lose the case. I mean, I've seen it in Baltimore City Circuit Court where people will come up before a judge without representation, and it really gums up the works, if you will. The judge basically has to try the case completely on her own or his own. And very often people don't come with the material that they need. They're not able to really defend themselves or defend their position or get their point across the way that they really need to. So having an attorney there is vital. It's very, very important, particularly in a lot of these family law issues, but across the board. Landlord-tenant issues, doesn't matter. Having representation is crucial, and people need to know that.
Yeah, indeed. How does the service work?
Well, it's very simple. If an individual has a legal problem, what they really should do is one of two things: either call our 800 number, which is 1-800-510-0050, or go onto our website, which is www.mvlslaw.org, and simply apply for services. If you call our number, it's usually you'll talk to a paralegal. We have 5 paralegals on staff. And it usually will take just a few minutes. They'll ask you some questions about your income, because this is based on income. We want to make sure that we have limited resources. We want to make sure that we're helping low to moderate income people. And they'll ask some questions about your legal problem. And if everything checks out and you meet our income guidelines and the guidelines for what kind of services we provide, then we'll get you into our system and we'll look for a pro bono attorney to help you. And also, going online, we have online intake, where any time of the day, 24 hours a day, you can go online to our website and fill out a PDF form. It's about 4 pages long. It won't take that long to fill out, and it goes directly to us. We'll review it, and hopefully, if everything checks out, we can provide an attorney for the individual.
It sounds pretty simple.
Yeah.
Please give us an idea about the income guidelines.
It's 50% of the Maryland median income. So to get a rough idea, for a single individual, it'd be about, say, $26,000 a year. So we're talking about, for a family of 4, it's probably in the neighborhood of, say, the mid-40s. So we're talking about moderate income people. We're talking about people who very often we would consider, say, the working poor. We do have a different income guideline for our tax program. We actually also provide pro bono attorneys to individuals who have IRS problems, which is, we have a lot of people come to us with that.
In the spring?
Absolutely,
or
this
any
time
other
of
time
year.
Of year, yeah.
And so the guidelines are a little different. So if you're not certain, please call us or apply online, because although our guidelines are very strict, we want people to come to us so we can make that determination. But it's a very simple process, and we get about 1,000 calls a week, and our phone intake is only open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
And 1,000
calls a week.
Wow.
That gives you an idea. Now, most of those people are people we will refer out to other providers if we either don't have the ability to help them, or if they're over income guidelines. But there's just tons of people who need help.
Wow. And so the trends, you would say, are more, of course, in response to the recession in the last few years.
Well, I think so. Yeah. I mean, foreclosure is a good example. Very, very briefly, to say how many people have come to us looking for an attorney to help them with a loan modification or to represent them in front of a administrative law judge at a mediation hearing. So many of these people are what you call formerly middle class, sometimes upper middle class people, very often living out in a lot of the suburban areas, Frederick County, Howard County, Harford County, and they bought too much home, they lost their job, and they're shocked, they're floored. They've never had to deal with this before, and now they're going through a foreclosure, and they're just reaching out for help, and they're just shocked by it. It's a shock to their system. And that has really been an eye-opener for me, is how many people will come to us now with foreclosure issues, bankruptcy issues, tax issues, who never had these kind of problems, who never had to reach out for help before. And now they're reaching out for help, and it's shocking.